What if the person you welcomed into your home, the one you loved like family, was secretly plotting against you? She trusted her completely, called her sister, but behind the smiles and hugs, envy was brewing, ready to destroy the peace she cherished. Adobe's marriage was everything she had ever dreamt of. She and her husband Roland had been married for barely a year, but their love was deep, steady and full of joy. Every morning, she woke up to his gentle smile. Every night, they shared laughter, dreams and quiet moments together. Their home was peaceful, filled with warmth, respect and a love that felt unbreakable. People often called them the perfect couple, and Adaobi believed it too. She had never felt so safe, so happy, or so loved. Roland treated her like a queen. He listened when she spoke, supported her dreams, and held her close during every storm. To Adaobi, life could not get any better. But there was one person who made her happiness complete. Kamsi, Roland's younger sister. Kamsi was Adaobi's age mate, cheerful and full of life. From the first day they met, Adaobi felt a connection she had longed for all her life. Being the only daughter in her family, she had always dreamt of having a sister, a real sister she could laugh and cry with. Kamsi felt like an answer to that prayer. Adaobi loved Kamsi dearly. She shared everything with her joys, her fears, and even secrets she had never told Roland. They laughed together, cried together, and became inseparable. Adaobi trusted Kamsi with her whole heart. To her, Kamsi was not just a sister-in-law. She was a sister in every sense of the word. But Adaobi did not know that while she was opening her heart, she was planting trust in the wrong place. The sister she prayed for, the one she loved so dearly, would soon become the biggest threat to her peace, her happiness, and her life. Adaobi's life seems perfect, but 2 years into her marriage, a quiet pain had begun to grow. She and Roland loved each other dearly, but Adaobi could not conceive. Each month brought hope, followed by disappointment. Roland never blamed her. He held her hands and whispered, "We will be okay. God's timing is perfect." His love comforted her, but deep inside, she felt a growing emptiness she could not share with anyone. Her only comfort was Kamsi, the sister-in-law she trusted more than anyone. Over the years, their bond had grown stronger. Adaobi felt she could tell Kamsi anything. One evening, in a quiet, tear-filled moment, Adaobi confided in Kamsi about her painful past. She told her how, as a child, she had a life-threatening illness that required major surgery. She explained how the doctors had operated to save her life and how she had survived against all odds. It was a secret she had never shared with anyone, not even Roland. Kamsi listened, nodded and smiled reassuringly. Adaobi felt safe. She felt understood, but Kamsi had a plan. The very next day, she traveled down to the village and lied to her parents. She told them that Adaobi could never conceive because she had no womb. She painted a story of deception and impossibility. She told them Adaobi had hidden the truth and that Roland needed a wife who could give him children. Within days, Roland was summoned home. When he returned from his trip, he confronted Adaobi with a heavy heart. Did you tell my parents anything about childbirth? He asked, his voice calm but filled with tension. Adobe froze. Her mind raced back to all the late night conversations she had with Kamsi, the secret she had trusted her with. Suddenly, everything clicked. Roland's face was filled with disbelief and awe. They say your womb was tampered with, he said slowly. They are planning to get me another wife because they believe you cannot bear my children. Adobe's heart shattered. The sister she had trusted with everything had betrayed her in the worst way. Every memory, every secret she shared with Kamsi now felt like a knife twisting in her heart. The woman she had loved like a sister had turned out to be her greatest threat. And in that moment, Adobe realized trust can be most dangerous weapon of all. Adobe's word came crashing down in ways she had never imagined. Her closeness with Kamsi had turned into her greatest pain. Roland family, convinced that Adobe could not give their only son children, had already arranged a new bride for him. Kamsi, with a smile that hid her intentions, brought the young woman to Roland's house as if it were a gift. The moment Adobe saw her, anger and shock ran through her veins. She confronted Kamsi, her voice trembling. Why are you doing this? Kamsi's eyes flashed with cruelty. Barren woman, she spat. You cannot give my brother the children he deserves. Adobe's heart shattered. She felt as if the walls of her home had collapsed around her. She ran to her room, crying profusely, her tears soaking the pillow. Her perfect life, her perfect home seems to vanish in that moment. When Roland returned from work, he stopped dead in his track. There, sitting in his living room, was the strange woman. His brows furrowed as he turned to Kamsi, demanding answers. Kamsi did not hesitate. This is the woman our parent found for you, she said boldly. She is here for you. She will give you the children you desire. Roland stared at his sister in disbelief. My brother cannot be living with his fellow man under the same roof, Kamsi added coldly. A woman without a womb is not a wife. Roland's voice shook with anger as he ordered them out of his house. He said clearly with authority, this is my home, and Adobe is my beloved wife. If you people cannot respect my decisions and honor my wife, forget to ever have a son and a brother called Roland. He personally drove them out that night. But before Kamsi left, she turned back, her eyes narrowed, her anger blazing. She pointed at Adobe and accused her loudly. You have bewitched my holy brother. I will deal with you for this. You think you have won, right? She said, laughing softly. Adobe, trembling and tearful, stood her ground. Her voice shook as she spoke. Kamsi, what have I done to deserve this hatred? I love you. I trusted you. I shared everything with you. I took you as my sister. Her tears fell freely, but her voice grew stronger. God will judge you. Since you do not want peace in a home, know this, you will never have peace wherever you go. Kamsi laughed, leaning close. Her whisper was cold but empty. Metroid, she said. Adobe felt the weight of betrayal crush her. The sister she had loved, the person she had trusted the most, had become her enemy. And in that moment, Adobe knew her life would never be the same again. After that stormy day, Roland made a firm decision. He cut ties with Kamsi, his younger sister, and made it very clear to his parents they were not to interfere in his marriage. His voice was steady but full of authority. You both waited and prayed for 6 years before I was born, he said. You waited 7 years before Kamsi was born, and now, 2 years into my marriage, you pressure my wife because she hadn't conceived? Enough! His words shocked his family and left Kamsi fuming in anger. She accused Adobe with venom, insisting that she had bewitched her holy brother. But Roland refused to listen. His heart, his mind, and his own belonged to Adobe. Time passed, and in a twist of fate, the heavens smiled on Adobe. Months later, she discovered she was pregnant. The joy that filled her heart could not be described. Roland held her hands, his eyes shining with tears of happiness. Their perfect marriage, tested by lies and betrayal, finally found hope again. When Adobe gave birth to a healthy, bouncy baby boy, she thought the nightmare was over, but she was wrong. Roland family refused to believe it. They whispered behind closed doors and accused her of adopting the child. A woman without a womb cannot give birth, they said. We will not accept an illegitimate child in this family. Adobe felt the weight of their disbelief crush her, but she stood tall. There is nothing wrong with my womb. It is intact. I shared my past with Kamsi because I trusted her. Nothing more. I had a life-threatening illness as a child and underwent a major operation. That is the only secret I ever shared. Her waist hung in the air like a challenge. Silence followed, but it did not bring peace. Adobe realized a painful truth. Even the truth can hurt, but it cannot be buried forever. Years passed, and life continued for Adobe. She focused on her home, her husband, and her child. Her marriage grew stronger with each passing day, built on love, trust, and the storm they had survived together. She soon discovered she was pregnant again, and months later, she gave birth to a healthy baby boy. The laughter of her son filled the home, and Adobe felt a happiness she had never known. Not long after, she gave birth to a beautiful baby girl, and in her little daughter, Adobe found the sister she had always longed for, a bond as deep and unbreakable as the one she had once hoped for with Kamsi. Roland stood by her through every storm, their marriage stronger than ever, and Adobe felt an overwhelming sense of gratitude. Life has rewarded her patience and unwavering heart, but life had other plans for Kamsi. She married a wealthy man named Peter. On the surface, it seems like a perfect match: wealth, status, and a comfortable life. But the reality was far from perfect. Peter was a mama's boy, controlled entirely by his mother and family. They dictated every decision, every word, and every step Kamsi took. Her freedom, her voice, and her happiness were stripped away from the very start. As time went on, another wound appeared. Kamsi could not conceive. Every hope, every dream of having children for herself and solidifying her position in Peter's family slowly turned to ashes. The family grew impatient, disappointed, and cruel. They made a harsh decision. They brought in another wife for Peter, someone they believed could give him the children Kamsi could not. Kamsi, once the sister-in-law who wanted to destroy Adobe's happiness, now faced humiliation and heartbreak in her own marriage. Her home became a living hell, a place of constant pain and ridicule. For the first time, Kamsi truly understood the meaning of consequences. The life she had tried to ruin, the happiness she had envied, now stood tall and complete, while her own life was crumbling around her. Not long after the new wife entered Peter's home, she became pregnant immediately. When she gave birth to a healthy baby boy, the entire family rejoiced. The house was filled with laughter, celebration and congratulations, all except for Kamsi. Kamsi's life had turned upside down. Once proud and controlling, she was now reduced to a maid in her own home. She cooked, cleaned and served the very family that had once welcomed her, but now made her life miserable at every turn. Every word, every glance, every action reminded her of her lost position. Yet, the family did not send her away. They had a plan. They wanted Kamsi to leave voluntarily, broken enough to abandon the marriage herself. Each day of humiliation, each moment of despise chipped away at her pride and strength. Kamsi soon realized the painful truth. She had no place in her husband's heart anymore. Peter's love, attention and warmth were all given to the new wife and their child. The life she had hoped for, the happiness she had imagined was gone. The marriage that once seemed so promising had nearly taken her life emotionally, mentally and spiritually. She could no longer endure the shame, the loneliness and the constant torment. With nothing left to hold her, Kamsi made a decision. She left the home that had become a prison. Her dowry was returned, but it offered no comfort for the humiliation she had suffered. Broken and desperate, she turned to the one person she had once wronged the most, her brother Roland. She arrived at his house, trembling, tears streaming down her face, and begged for forgiveness. She spoke of her mistakes, her jealousy, and her failures, hoping that the sister she had betrayed, Adobe, would show her mercy. But Roland did not welcome her in. He looked at her with calm eyes, his voice steady, heavy with truth. "Kamsi," he said, "you are reaping the punishment of your actions. Karma has visited you in a way you never planned." Those words hit harder than any punishment. Kamsi finally understood the weight of every lie, every betrayal, and every cruel act she had committed. She had tried to destroy another person's happiness, and now she was paying the price. Meanwhile, Adobe's life continued to flourish. Her home was filled with love. Her husband stood by her, and her children thrived. The peace she had fought for and earned was untouched by jealousy or lies. Kamsi returned to her parents' house, broken and humiliated. Word of her misfortune spread quickly, and people began mocking her, whispering about the life she had lost, the marriage she had ruined for herself, and the karma she had earned. Each word was like a knife. Kamsi cried day and night. Sleep left her, peace left her, shame followed her everywhere. That was when some elders spoke to her. "If you want peace," they said, "go and ask your brother's wife for forgiveness." Kamsi's heart pounded as she realized the truth in those words. The sister she had betrayed, Adobe, was the key to any chance of redemption or finally feeling some relief from the weight of her mistakes. With tears in her eyes, she summoned every ounce of courage she had left and walked back to Roland's house. Luckily for her, Roland was away. She found Adobe alone and fell to her knees trembling and said, "Please forgive me. I was jealous of your closeness with my brother. I wanted to protect my bond with him, but I never knew my actions would destroy the relationship between us. I betrayed your trust and I am so sorry. Adobe looked at her, the girl she had once loved as a sister, the woman who had caused her so much pain. But she saw remorse in Kamsi's eyes and her heart softened. She took Kamsi's hand in hers and said, I forgive you, but forgiveness does not mean forgetting. Learn from this and never let jealousy or hatred rule your heart again. In that moment, peace returned. Kamsi made peace with her brother Roland as well, and the family began to heal. But Adobe was wise. She set boundaries between herself and Kamsi, knowing that love and forgiveness do not mean letting the same mistakes repeat. Adobe's life went on, stronger and more beautiful than ever. Her home was filled with laughter, love and joy. Her children grew up surrounded by care and happiness. Her husband, Roland, remained her unwavering support, a partner through every challenge and triumph. And as she watched her children play, Adobe realized a truth that had carried her through every storm. Trust must be given wisely, love must be protected fiercely, and forgiveness can heal even the deepest wound. But peace is earned by living rightly and faithfully. Lessons from the story. This story teaches us that the person you opened your heart to can become the very weapon used against you. Love without wisdom is dangerous, and trust without boundaries can ruin a life. Not everyone who calls you sister, brother, or family truly wants your happiness. Some people only listen so they can later use your words against you. Stop oversharing your pain, your past, and your secrets. Silence can be protected. Some people smile with you while secretly praying for your fall. Jealousy is quiet, patient and deadly. It hides behind care and fake love until the right moment to strike. A peaceful home is fragile. One bitter heart is enough to destroy a marriage if you allow the wrong person into your private space. Blood relationship does not always mean loyalty, and not every relative deserves access to your life. True love stands firm under pressure. A real partner will defend you when lies rise, when family turns against you, and when the whole world misunderstands you. What you do in secret will one day meet you in public. Pain given to another's never disappears. It runs heavier and louder. Karma may be slow, but it never forgets an address. Finally, forgiveness heals the heart, but boundaries protect the soul. You can forgive someone and still close the door to your peace. Let this story change how you love, how you trust, and how you guide your heart, because not everyone walking beside you is working for you. Thank you so much for staying with us to the very end of this story. Your time, your attention, and your support means everything to us. If this story taught you a lesson, please don't keep it to yourself. Like this video, share it to someone who needs to hear this message, and drop your thoughts in the comments. We truly want to hear from you. Most importantly, subscribe to this channel for more powerful, emotional and mind-opening stories, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss any of our uploads. Thank you for being part of our storytelling family. Until next time, stay safe, stay strong and stay wise. I love you all. God bless you.